Pace Morby. If you haven't heard of him, you will today. Phenomenal real estate investor. One of my favorite shows ever. I got 5 pages of notes. I'm not kidding. I took notes the whole time. I got 5 pages of little handwriting notes.
So if you're listening, folks, you can make some dough.
Can anybody get into this who's motivated?
1,000%.
Why aren't more people flocking into this?
This is the formula right here. It's called subjectivity. Bro, you're making me sick right now. Why would the bank let me do that?
But this guy seemed to come out of nowhere, and he's got an unbelievable following, tribe. He's got a top podcast. He's got the most popular TV show on A&E called Triple Digit Flip. But what's even more impressive is his heart to serve.
Pace Morby is the guy for all things real estate, and he does it all with something called creative financing.
It's going to be everything and anything you could ever want to know about creative financing.
When I watch Pace, you know what I see? I see a guy who got a whole universe of humans who told him, you can't do it that way. And he said, "Good, watch me."
Welcome to Get Creative. Welcome. Every Monday night, 7 p.m. I go live. That's 7 p.m. Arizona time. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the state of the market, what's going on. Last week, people loved the episode and requested us talk about it again. I also had on my previous podcast, a handful of people ask, Pace, how can I get into the game? How can you find me a house? And so we're going to do some whiteboard session. If you ever wonder what this thing is in front of me, it's my iPad. I get a whiteboard and break things down and help people out. The state of the market. Let's jump into it right away. A couple of big problems that are happening in the marketplace. Now, you can go through all the politics. You can go through AI. We can talk through all of those problems. But at the end of the day, the news is always going to be doom and gloom, right? Always. They're going to look for things that are disastrous. People are dying. Things are happening. Politics, everybody's fighting and lying. And Trump is going to prison. Biden's going to prison. And his son bought a gun with cocaine and blah, blah. Who cares at the end of the day? I care about paying for my bills and I care about becoming wealthy so I can help other people. That's really what this channel is about. And that's what our community, Sub 2 Gator Top Tier TC, is all about, is helping other people because we have the skills and the resources to go and help ourselves make a bunch of money. So let's talk about what is going on in the marketplace besides the stupid politics that are convincing you guys that there's actually something going on in the marketplace, which politics are always going to be politics. People are always going to be talking about, what the heck is going on. Let's talk about the biggest problems in real estate right now. Number one biggest problem in real estate right now is that sellers are having a really hard time selling their houses, believe it or not. And that is not my opinion. That is a fact. And there's something called days on market. And what that means is when a family goes out, hires a real estate agent and puts their house on the market, says, hey, we're ready to sell. And an agent puts it on the MLS. That now is day number 1 on the market, DOM, days on market. That is day number 1 on the market. Okay. So what happens is when marketplace gets really hard, which means the buyers are having a hard time buying houses because buyers cannot afford 7, 8, and 9% interest rates, which is what we're currently dealing with right now. Buyers cannot afford to buy that house that the family, let's say the Smith family, is put on the market, and the agent is sitting there representing them, has it also on the market, known as the MLS. These buyers look at these houses and go, yeah, that's too expensive. I can't afford that. And these families are sitting there going, well, we're not going to sell for anything lower. And there's a couple of reasons why. Is because one, they don't have the equity to do that. That's a big problem. That's number 2 problem. Sellers are having a hard time selling their houses. Days on market are climbing. That means the amount of time an average house is sitting on the market is going up, which means agents are losing listings. Sellers are having a hard time selling their houses. And they're having a hard time lowering their prices because they can't. If they lower their prices any lower, they're going to have a hard time. Let me tell you what that means. Let's say I've got a property that we just went under contract today. I bought it for 400. Actually, I'll tell you exactly what I bought it for. I bought it for $406,000. And I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do with this house. This family had this property listed on the MLS with an agent, and the agent puts it on the market. She had it on the market for over 6 months, couldn't sell it. So they had it on the market for $460. Why did they have it on the market for $460? Well, they didn't really think it was worth $460. They just knew the family owes $406,000. And after all their commissions and closing costs and all that kind of stuff, if they sell it for $460, then they just might get enough money to walk away and have a little bit of cash. And this is kind of the math in their mind. By the way, this is going on with thousands and thousands and thousands of sellers in the marketplace, which I'll talk to you about how you should be making money right now. So this seller, okay, they owe $406. If the agent goes and lists this property on the MLS for $460, and a family comes along and says, hey, we do want to buy that house for $460, what's going to happen is the seller, okay, is responsible for all sorts of costs out of that $460. And the average cost to sell a property in the United States is about 10%. Okay, you guys think it's 6% because you're thinking 3% to an agent, 3% to another agent, but you're missing a lot of things, right? You've got an agent, yes, that's 3%. You got another agent, yes, that's 3%. The seller pays for both of those things. A lot of people don't realize that. Then you've got the title company. They need to get paid, right? There's people working at the title company. There's people at the escrow office. Those people need to get paid as well. What about the repairs on the property? What if there's a hole in the roof or an AC unit needs to be replaced or whatever? There's people that need to get paid. What about the appraisal? Does the appraisal get done without a human being that needs to get paid? No. There's all these people that need to get paid out of a transaction, which is why the average cost to sell a property in the United States is 10%. If that's news to you, let me know in the comments. Like, oh, that's news to me. I had no idea. I had no idea that was the case. Well, that is the case, guys. It takes 10% out of the seller's pocket to sell the house. So if the seller sells it for $460, which they couldn't, that means they're going to pay $46,000 to all of those associated costs, right? That means the seller will walk away with about, they got to pay off the $406,000 mortgage. So you take those two things out of the equation, right? $46,000 of cost and my mortgage of $406. And guess what you're left over with? You're left over with $14,000 that goes to the seller in their pocket after all closing costs and everything else associated. Okay. Vape King says, even for sale by owner is not really a thing. That's this fictitious thing that people think exists. It really does not exist. It's very, very rare for sale by owner. I'll tell you that for sale by owner, FSBOs, as we call them in the business, less than 1% of every house that gets sold is a FSBO. They're very, 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 very rare. And the only thing it's going to do is it's going to lower your 10% cost down to 7% because you're only saving one agent's commission. You're not saving all of the agent's commission. Okay. Great question though. All right. So the seller will only walk away in this situation with $14,000 after paying off their commissions and all of that kind of stuff. Well, that is in a perfect scenario. And that's why they listed it for $460,000. Okay. People might ask the question of, did they list the property for $460,000 because it actually is worth that? No. Write this down. Take a note. Very rarely will a seller or a real estate agent ever sell Danny says it's $8,000 and he's probably right. 406, 460. Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you for that. Thank you. So they're going to walk away with $8,000, not $16,000. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. It's all the math nerds that always help me out. Thank you guys. $8,000. So $8,000 is the most that seller's going to walk away with. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. So if the seller and the agent cannot sell that house and 6 months goes by, right? This seller is now paid $2,400 in payments on 1 month, $2,400 in payments on another month, $2,400 on another, $2,400 on another, and so on and so forth. This goes all the way 6 months. They actually, because they can't sell the house, That might not seem like a big deal because you're sitting there going, well, you know, they live in the house. So why wouldn't they want to make the payment? That's not really lost money because it's kind of like paying rent. It is lost money. And I'll tell you why. The reason being is because this family has already moved to North Dakota. The agent told them, hey, no problem. I can sell this house. You guys can move into your new house. So they depart. They go to North Dakota and they go all the way up there. And now they have 2 monthly payments. 2 monthly payments, one in North Dakota and one on the house in Arizona, the one that I bought. Okay. So even if they sold it for $460, they would still lose money because they've been paying 6 months of payments. Okay. Well, they couldn't sell it for $460. They lowered it to $440, $420. And then finally they are just like, we don't know what to do. And so they're going to cancel the listing. So I come along. This is where we make money. We come along, we call the agent and I say, hey agent, my name is Pace. I rarely use my name. I use like John Smith or something like that. And I say, hey agent, I want to buy this house, but I want to take over the payments. The payments on that house are $2,300 plus an HOA of $100. So the payment is $2,400. I want to take over the payments on that and I will take care of your commissions. Instead of 3%, I'll pay you 2% commissions and I'll pay the seller $8,000 to walk away. So I'm giving the seller more than they could get without me. And I'm giving the agent more than they could get on the market. How many of these opportunities are in the marketplace right now? It's overwhelming. It is honestly the most overwhelming opportunity in real estate and will be for the next 36 months. I've been talking about this perfect storm for almost 2 years, and the perfect storm is here. It's not arriving. It is here right now. And so how am I making money on these deals? Well, of course, I'm the sub 2 guy. I see everybody else in the world going out, offering people 50 cents on the dollar, trying to do cash wholesale. I'm like, I don't really think that's a waste of time. But let's say you locked me in a prison cell and you gave me a phone and you said, we're not going to give you food and we're not going to give you water and we're not going to give you any outside sensation. You can't talk to your wife, can't see your kids, nothing. You are locked in this prison cell and you only have a phone and the phone will only last until the battery dies. We will not let you out. Okay. We will not let you out. Sharice Garcia says, Pace, can you create an app of just creative deals? Yeah, I did. It's called the Sub 2 Community. Go into our private Facebook group. You see nothing but creative finance deals all day long. Okay. For those of you guys that ask all the time, how do I join Sub 2? I'll give you guys a link in the side chat. We've already created that. We did $5 billion in Sub 2 transactions last year. If you want a Sub 2 deal, the easiest way to get a Sub 2 deal is just buy a Sub 2 deal from somebody inside the Sub 2 community. You'll get a deal today, like literally today. Okay. So Shawshank Kaul, let me ask you a question, Shawshank. Can you come on here? Can you come and chat with me? Because I think you have something you really got to learn here. What equity do these homeowners have? What equity do these homeowners have? Shawshank Kaul says, what about the equity they have? Bro, if they had equity, they would have sold the house, right? So Shawshank Kaul, I'm going to give you a link for you to join the backstage, okay? Come join the backstage. Let's chat about this. Let's walk through all of that kind of stuff, okay? All right, here we go. So I've got a seller that has a payment of $2,400 a month. So I look at this and I go, oh, this is too easy. This is way too easy. I know exactly what to do with this. Okay. And by the way, if you join my backstage, just so you know, Chris Pedra, you just joined the backstage. You did not turn your camera on. If you guys turn your camera on, I'll actually call on you. If you don't turn your camera on, I won't. Okay. Shashank Kaul, the link is in the side chat. Okay. Equity is what the market is willing to pay. That is, I guess, part of the equation, Gordon Saran, but that is not all of it. Okay, so check this out. Lolita, I'm going to pull on you. Okay, you've got your camera. Turn your camera sideways for me tonight. You got your camera up and down. Let's turn it sideways so we can see the whole picture. Can you do that for me? Okay, when she figures that out, we'll add her to the stage. Shawshank, turn your camera on or get a light on yourself, brother. We'd like to see you. You know what I'm saying? There we go. Shawshank, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
So what equity are you talking about?
So a lot of the deals that I've looked at, it's their mortgage is like suppose 340,000, but then the property is appreciated. So what they're listing it at is like, so that's the equity that I'm talking about.
Okay, so you're talking about a different deal, not the deal I'm talking about, and not about the problem the market is seeing right now. You're just seeing, what do we call those types of deals, Shawshank? You're obviously not in my community, or otherwise you'd be trained on this, but what do we call these kind of deals?
Some hybrid deals.
It's a hybrid deal. The word hybrid was invented by me 10 years ago in the creative finance space.
Yes.
So it's a hybrid deal, right? Have you not watched our YouTube videos breaking down how to do hybrid deals? Was that not enough for you?
It's just, so, okay. No, yeah, it is. But I just have a couple of questions with regards to
All right,
that.
let's break it down. Tell me what your questions are.
So how would you how would you organize that? So you're doing seller financing, but like, what about balloon payments? I don't understand how to do balloon payments at all.
Shawshank, why haven't you just joined the sub 2 community? Like, why is YouTube the free world think you're going to solve all your problems?
I don't have the money yet. I joined your Gator community, and I will join your.
Okay, got it.
Subject to.
The sad thing is, like, on a short, I want to get to Lolita because she actually wants me to help her buy a house.
Yeah.
I'd love to break this down for you, like an hour or 2 hours. My hybrid breakdowns on YouTube is probably a collective 4 hours. My hybrid breakdowns inside of our sub 2 community, probably a good 102 hours of hybrid breakdowns, but that's really not what you need. What you need are high level closers that will just get on the phone with you inside the community, will help you structure the deal. That's what you really need.
Gotcha.
Your past education, bro. Like, education is a waste of your time at this point. You need other people that will help you get past all these little humps.
I'm willing to learn also. Like, I wanna learn these things, so I know how to do them too.
The only way to learn them is from people that have done it.
Gotcha. Understood.
Okay. I would reach out to Chris Geddes. He just quit his high paying job at Google. He works inside of sub 2, and he will agree with you 100%. He worked with Landon Moore inside of our community, and they did a bunch of deals together. And Chris was like, I can do this full time, and quit his job. It wasn't information. It wasn't YouTube. It wasn't a book. It was other people inside my community that helped him quit his job at Google.
Understood. I will do that.
He didn't get laid off. He quit.
Yeah.
Big difference, right? Okay. Yep. So let's answer the question. Everything comes down to what you're doing with the deal. Is your name actually Shawshank?
Yes, that's actually, it's Shashank, but like, people call me Shawshank because of the Shawshank Redemption.
Okay,
but,
got it.
Yeah.
All right. So Shashank.
Sean. You can call me Sean. It's easier to say.
How about we just say your name the way your mama gave it to you, because that's a dope name, Shashank.
Yes.
Okay, so Shashank.
Yeah.
What are you doing with the house? You're not going to be able to answer the question for me, but what are you going to do with the house?
So I'm trying to make offers on those properties by basically letting them know that I will have to either seller finance, or if their equity is low enough, I'm trying to cash them out. Like some properties,
Shashank, I got all that. What are you doing with the houses, assuming you get them under contract?
I see. Sorry. So it's I'm doing pad split, and then I'm doing long-term rentals. And then I'm running numbers for that. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So I just did a deal with Graham Stephan. I bought a deal sub 2, and the lady has $180,000 in seller finance equity.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just doing I'm doing a hybrid deal. Yeah. And your question is, I don't understand what to do with the balloon, right? Yeah. First and foremost, sellers don't know what a balloon is. So why would you ever bring up a balloon to a seller?
But I'm not even able to explain it to them. So it's not even a conversation to have at this point. So that's why I usually always go to seller financing, and it's either they reject it or they will say, I don't understand it. And then I have to go find another deal and try to submit a new offer. So that's how
about this? Just since you're not in my community, just send the leads to me and I'll just close them. I'll pay you $500.
Okay, cool. I'll do that.
Like, bro, there's only 3 reasons. I want you to remember this. There's only 3 reasons why somebody will not sell to you on seller finance.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1 is 80% of the reasons. Number 1. The number 1 reason why somebody won't sell to you on seller finance or subject to is because they do not understand the benefits.
Yeah.
And you have not explained it to them properly. You're explaining to them technically. You're not a good storyteller. Yeah. You're overcomplicating it.
Yes, 100%. I agree with you. I am doing that. I've seen that happen, and some of the times where there are people that are throwing like curveballs where they will say, "Oh, like this is gonna be like split for someone else, so we won't be able to sell or finance. We won't be able to do subject to." And then I'm like, okay, now what are my options? So I just kind of like I have to go back to the drawing boards, figure out what I'm going to say to them to come back to them. And it's me and my partner, my business partner. I mean, that is also helping me a lot. So,
Okay, you definitely need a sub 2 student to help you out.
Yeah.
Somebody that's a proven closer. We've got hundreds of them in the side chat right now. Myron Briley and I just did 2 deals in the last couple of days. Okay. That's number one. The second reason why somebody would not sell to you on seller finance is because they need the money right now, which is very rarely the situation. Even when people say to me, I need the money right now, I go, oh, cool. For what? What are you going to do with it? They don't have an answer. Never. They never have an answer.
Yeah.
And so they go, well, I'm going to pay off my car and I'm going to pay off this. I'm like, wouldn't you rather just have a monthly payment with interest that would help you pay off the car payment without taking money out of your pocket?
Yeah, that is true. I have never thought it like that. So yeah, 100%. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay. So that I've never ran into a seller that actually truly needed their money all right now. And the third reason why they won't sell to you on seller finance is because they don't have any pain. Like let alone a cash offer, let alone creative finance. Like they just don't have any pain whatsoever. And so you just move on, you follow up with them and you go to the next one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just putting them out as my cold lead, and I'll circle back to. So all the offers that I'm making, if they're not going through, I'm just waiting on the listing to get more days on it, and hopefully they will be under pressure, and then we'll be able to like at least close at least one deal. I haven't closed any deals yet, so I'm trying to just close one deal.
Okay, so I would work with an actual sub 2 student. I'm telling you, YouTube is okay to like, here's what YouTube's for. It's to inspire people to take action. It's not there. It's not meant to give you all the answers.
Yeah, dude.
And the reason being is, you know how we humans are. It's like you get stuck and then you go, well, how am I going to go find the information? That's a tough thing when you're dealing with a seller.
It is.
What you really need is a sub 2 student that actually closes deals.
Yeah.
And can just, I mean, we got a dozen of them in the side chat. Just pull them up.
Okay, cool. I will.
Great question tonight. Okay, so Sydney, I'm going to go to you if you promise you're not going to move your phone around. You're not allowed to move your phone around while we're talking. Are we on the same page? Okay. Okay, cool. Awesome. So Sydney, your question is, you've got a contract today. We talked about this on Wholesale Hotline today. Okay.
Yes.
You came on Wholesale Hotline. I told you to come in. Let's chat. What you have right now is you have a situation where you have a deal that you want to close. It's a contract and you're like, I want to go and do a pad split on this bad boy. I don't want to wholesale this.
Right.
Right. Because wholesaling is for children. Just kidding. I like wholesale. I'm just kidding. I like to tease people. And they then go tell my best friends, I go, Pace said wholesaling is for children. Okay. Okay. So here's what we're doing. Sydney, you've got a house. Okay. You've got a seller that sold you a house. Are you direct to seller or direct to agent?
I believe direct to seller. I think it's another investor.
Okay, so you're buying it from a wholesaler. Got it.
Yeah.
So you've got a wholesaler that got a contract directly with the seller. They have this contract, which we call the A-B contract, right? A is the seller, B is the wholesaler, right? A party, B party. We call that the A-B contract. Make sense?
Yep.
Then the wholesaler comes out and they find you, Sydney. I don't know how they found you. How'd they find you? In a Facebook group or something?
I found them on Zillow.
Okay, cool. You found them on Zillow. Got it. So you found them on Zillow. You then go to that wholesaler and they send you a contract. We call this contract the B-C contract because you're now party C, right? Now there's 2 contracts, right? There's the AB and the BC. So you have a contract with this wholesaler, correct?
Yeah, I think, I'm pretty sure that's how it went. When I sent them the offer and they sent me a counter offer and then we signed the contract for the counter offer. So,
okay, so you have a contract.
Yes.
Okay, so do you see that there's 2 contracts going on? One you don't see, that is with the wholesaler and the seller directly, and then there's the other one, which is the one you have in your possession, called the BC contract, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So this is where you currently are now. Your main question, I'm just catching everybody else up to speed. Your main question is, okay, Pace, my name is Sydney. I'm pretty cool, but I have a house and I want to keep it in my portfolio, but I have no money.
Correct.
Perfect. Everybody look at me right now. Nobody rich uses their own money. If you use your own money, you're just dumb. And you love Dave Ramsey. That guy's an absolute, he's a liar. He's a genius liar. He's genius. He lies to instill fear into you so that you go buy his $35,000 fear product. Okay. He doesn't want you to go buy real estate. He doesn't want to teach you actually how to make money. The guy only teaches you how to be fearful of your own shadow. And have you guys ever watched one of his episodes where he actually shows people how to make money and breaks down an actual deal? It's never going to happen. You'll never see it happen.
That's crazy.
Isn't it crazy that he's such he's a financial wizard? There was a lady on his show the other day. Okay. This is how stupid y'all are listening to Dave Ramsey. 90% of what he says is really good. He does give people advice that just don't know how to manage their money. Amazing advice. Okay. This lady comes on his show. She's like, my husband's dead and we don't have enough money to pay the bills. And Dave's like, shit. He didn't say that, but you could see it in his eyes. You're like, oh, this guy's going to give horrible advice. Maybe not even any advice. So he goes, all right, I know what we're going to do. We're going to give you a year free of our calculator of how to manage your money. This lady's about to be like, Dave, I don't have money to manage. And he just cuts her off. He's like, so we care about our audience so much. We're going to give you a year. You know what? We're going to give you 2 years. Hey guys, reach out to her. We must've lost her. Give her 2 years of the free financial calculator. Dave, the lady has no effing money. Teach her how to make money. That's not his program, guys. His program is not teaching you how to make money. His program is teaching you how to be fearful of money so that you buy his calculators and all these kind of things. Okay. So this whole belief that I have to have money in real estate is this right here. Okay.
Right.
Ask yourself the question, how can I do every deal with no money? Let's say, Sydney, somebody puts a gun up against your head. And they say, Sydney, you have to buy this house with no money out of your pocket. Otherwise, you die. Are you going to figure it out?
Yeah.
Okay, here's how I would figure it out. Step one. Okay. Go to myinvestorloan.com. Okay. My Investor Loan is going to give you 70 to 80% of the purchase price in hard money. Okay. Meaning they're not going to go through your credit and all these other things. They're going to go through and look at the deal itself. myinvestorloan.com. This is who I use. I use them for fix and flips. I use them for rentals. Okay. Anybody out there think that burrs are cool? This is what I do to do burrs too. I do more burrs than the stupid burr educators do burrs. Okay. I do a lot of burrs. myinvestorloan.com. We understand where 70 to 80% of my money is going to come from to buy the deal. Is that correct, Sydney?
Yes.
Okay. myinvestorloan.com. Cool. Step two. My Investor Loan is going to give you what we call in the business a term sheet. A term sheet is going to say, hey, Sydney, here's how much money we're willing to give you. And then they're going to give you a number. Okay. This is step number two. They're going to give you a number, and that number is going to be, let's just make it up. So they're going to say, we're not going to give you 50,000 of the how much is the purchase? What's the purchase price?
85.
That's it?
85,000. Yeah.
Damn. Well, you're all in Indiana or some shit?
No, that's Sandusky, Ohio.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Sandusky, Ohio. Guys, for $85,000, I can buy the mayor's house in Sandusky, Ohio, and maybe the Taco Bell across the street. Okay. So 85. Sydney, you sure you want to buy this house? The national average to buy a house is $431,000. You're buying something for $31,000.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's my first contract. I've the deal I've done at all so far, and
okay,
I'm
going to give you some education after this, but I'm going to tell you how to fund this deal. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, watch the side chat when I ask this question. Okay. There's an $85,000 deal you have to close on. My Investor Loan is going to say, hey, Sydney, we're going to give you 70,000 of the $85,000. How much of a shortfall does that leave you?
10, right?
Okay, so here we go. This is a great question. So Charisse Garcia, she says, just real quick, hey, what about Grant is saying using Fannie Mae? Yeah, you can use Fannie Mae to get a 4-plex or a 6-plex with 5% down. The problem is if you go this route, you're going to get a 7% interest rate or an 8% interest rate on that loan, Charisse. Is it possible? Yes, people do it all the time. Okay. I never said don't go out and get a loan. I just said Dave Ramsey's an absolute fearmonger. That's what I said. That has nothing to do with Grant Cardone. Okay. Grant is smart and he's right. You can go out and get a 4-plex using a Fannie Mae loan right now. They have a program for it. Okay. Makes sense? Cool.
Yep.
All right. So here we go. We are back here. My investor loan is going to give you $70,000. You're going to have a shortfall of $15,000. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I'm doing.
Awesome. That's your shortfall money. Okay. You're short $15,000. Guess what? You're short more than that because you still have to close. You have to hire a title company. The title company we use is a company called Creative Title and Escrow. And that company is in all 50 states. They do all cash transactions, sub-2 transactions, seller finance transactions. The name of the website is getcreativetitle.com. Okay. You can use them to open up your transaction. Cool. So you're going to have to pay them, right? Title companies make money. So let's say that this is going to cost you another $3,000. So are we only short 15,000? No, we're short 15,000 plus 3,000. We're short $18,000, Cindy. Okay. The other thing is that's not all we're short. Guess what? We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 months of payments that we've got to make while this house is vacant, while we renovate it and get it ready for pad split, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let's say that I've got payments of $3,000 a month. I don't know what the payment's going to be. Let's just assume it's really high, $3,000 a month. That's like utilities, that's landscape, that's pest control, that's payment to my my lender, myinvestorloan.com. I've got another $15,000 in payments I've got to make to get this property stabilized. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
Cool. So now, does this property need to get renovated and does it need to be furnished and get ready for pad split?
It does need to be furnished and everything. It did. It had a fire in the upstairs unit. Yeah, it just needs a little bit of renovating.
Okay, cool. So let's say that you need another $25,000 of renovations. We are short. Okay, you are short $25,000 for reno and furniture. We are short $15,000 for our payments because you're not going to be able to make those payments. I'm just guessing. And we're short $18,000 for our closing costs and our shortfall. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so where does this money come from?
The title company. I mean, not the title company. The creative. I don't know. Oh,
we call them gators. Okay, private money lenders. Gators.
Of course, 82.
Okay, I have a community of these people. I have 10,000 of them that are trained to do exactly this thing.
Cool.
Okay, so if you are somebody in the side chat that is a gator, please say, I'm a gator, so that people can reach out to you in the side chat. Okay, so you don't need this money. You need to partner with somebody who does, and you'll see them in the side chat. Anthony Johnston, Sherrill, Chris Pedra, Raquel, Bautista, Danny Firestone. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did I bring them to you? Do you have any excuse to come to me and tell me that you can't find money since I just put them in the side chat? They're right here, right now.
Heck no.
Okay. Jared Peasy says, come take my money, Sydney.
I got it. Where? And how do I get their information, the contact info?
You should have joined the community, but you aren't. You're on the free stuff. So you got to network with them in the side chat.
Okay.
Put your information, get off the Zoom or get off the thing, go into the YouTube channel and type it in your information so people can get a hold of you.
Right. Doing that right now.
So Sydney,
Yes.
do I need money to do real estate?
No.
Okay.
We do not.
Have I answered your question?
Absolutely.
Okay. I get my money from myinvestorloan.com. I go to getcreativetitle.com to do my paperwork, and I go to a gator by networking with my people in my community that I've trained on how to be gators, how to bring money to the table to you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
There you go. Just give you a
Awesome.
master class for free.
I appreciate you.
It's better than a master class. Think about this. It took me 10 years to build a community of people that I could just call on in the side chat and they would appear for you. 10 years of my life it took.
I've had my LLC for 2 years and I haven't gotten far with it. And yeah, I mean, I appreciate you a lot.
There you go. I even help people that are left-handed, just so you know. Sydney's proof.
Left-handed.
I know. That's why I made the comment. Lalita, let's go to you today. Okay. Let's go to you. Lalita, have we not figured out how to turn our phone sideways today?
Oh wait, well, I'm on I'm on my phone on the browser of my phone. So
okay, cool. So Lolita, you came on Wholesale Hotline today and you said, I'm not even sure if I want to be in wholesale. In fact, Pace, I just found out about you a week ago and I don't even know what you're all about. Can I tell you what I'm all about? I'm about helping sellers sell their house where they can't and helping buyers who can't use banks get into those houses. That's what I'm all about.
Okay.
That's what I do. And I think that if you are are you a single mom?
I am.
Do not waste your time on wholesaling right now.
Okay.
Wholesaling is a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
It requires months and months of learning and educating and all of those types of things. I think you should definitely learn wholesale, but the main thing you're like, I don't want to rent anymore and I want to own my house. You have a job, it sounds like, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you live in Indiana where houses are like $14 and you can get a burrito with your purchase.
I wish, man. Look.
I'm just kidding. Indiana's dope. I just love to make the joke.
Yeah, trust me. You're not the only one. Yeah, which is funny because like I'm right next door to Chicago where it's like way more like pricier there. And it's like I'm like smack dab. Like,
are you in Gary, Indiana or Indianapolis?
No, I'm actually in Indianapolis. I'm like on the southeast side of Indianapolis right now, like in Fountain Square area.
Okay, cool. So here's what I would do. Okay. And this is what people in my community would do to help you out too. Okay. So let me switch this up just real quick. I'm sorry, my screen's a little bit funky. Okay. So here's what I do primarily right now with the marketplace being what it is. Okay. I know there's buyers out there like you that are like, I can't go to a bank. I don't make enough money for that. And they want me to have big down payments. They want me to have these big crazy things. F the bank, right? You wake up in the morning every day and you go, F the bank, just like I do. Okay.
It's crazy.
Cool. So here's what I do. I just go to the sellers that are having a hard time selling their house. And I go to the agent. Okay. And if anybody that wants here, I'll give you guys the training. I have a 4-hour training on exactly how to do this. I'll give it to you guys in the side chat. Okay. It's a 4-hour training on how to generate leads the exact same way that I do. And we did it a week ago. Paul Patricola says, Pace, did you start Creative Title? Yes. Creative Title, getcreativetitle.com. Okay. So there's the training on how to go get 25 leads every 25 minutes. Go watch it. There's a link, or just DM me the word leads. If you guys are watching this in the future, DM me the word leads and I will get you guys that link. No problem. Okay. Cool. So I go to these families and they're having a hard time selling the house. Lolita, how can I know Pace, this weirdo Pace? How does Pace know that these people are having a hard time selling their house?
I feel like I should know the answer to that. But I don't know.
Well, it's 2024, basically 2025 at this point. Don't you think that like I could just look up like who's having a hard time selling their house? Like data is so good, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of access to information almost everywhere. Yeah. Or
right.
anywhere.
So could I not like find out what you had for lunch yesterday? Probably. Okay. There you go. There's a way to find out just about anything nowadays. Okay. Diana Rosette says, she typed in the word leads. Diana, my friend, I already gave you the link. It's in the side chat. You don't need to DM me on here. You are on a live right now. Okay. If you are watching this in the future, which is not right now, if you're watching this in the future, DM me on Instagram the word leads, and I will get you guys the same link. Okay. All right. So Pace goes on a piece of website, a piece of software called PropStream. You don't need to download PropStream. You don't need to worry about that if you're the buyer of this piece of real estate. I use PropStream and I find people, Lolita, that are having a hard time selling their house. And I simply go to them and I say, hey, can I take, you know, that house payment you have? How about I just take over that 3% or that 4% or that 2% rate that you have, and you guys just walk away from the house. I'll just take over the payments. You think that sounds crazy, and you just found me a week ago, and you're probably like, that sounds like a scam.
Slightly, just because of the videos I have been watching on your YouTube page. So it's like, because it's like I've never heard of this, obviously. So it's like, okay. But it's like, hey, you know, if it's something that, you know, that is a possibility, why not just shoot for it?
Lolita, I have 15,000 people in my community doing this exact thing across the country. Last year, we did $10 billion in these transactions, and these transactions have been around for 200 years. They get done at title and escrow companies. Real estate agents do them all the time. It's just something they don't teach in school. You also probably didn't learn how to balance your checkbook or like go out and make a ton of money in your high school or your college, correct?
No, not at all. I will say though, I did have the blessing where my great grandmother actually, well, when they was still balancing checkbooks, she did show me how to do that. But no, school did not teach me that.
No, and school didn't teach me this either. I had to bump into other people that were doing it and learn how to do it. And then about 11 years ago, I kind of perfected the process. I said, man, this process is a little antiquated and people aren't sharing it online. And so me and my community, the Sub2 community, you can see our logo right here. We have changed the game. In the last 4 years, there are more Sub2 transactions going on now than ever before in history. And that's because of our community working them. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
We're saving families on the selling side, and we're getting families into these houses on the buyer side, and we're helping a ton of people. Okay. Chris Geddes says, by the way, Chris Geddes used to work at Google. He says, I thought it was a scam too, but now I own 3 of them. He just hung out with me in my backyard of a 20 acre ranch I bought in Montana for $1 down. And I get to stare at him looking over the fire and I go, still think it's a scam? And he's like, bro, I quit my job because of this. Okay?
That is so awesome.
Pretty cool. So I'm not trying to teach you how to do Sub2 right now. I just want to show you that it's possible for you and your family to move into a house. Okay. Did you sign up on pacegives.com, by the way?
I did.
Oh, okay, cool. We're about to start looking for houses for everybody on pacegives.com. So you'll start getting notified when we find stuff in Indiana. Okay.
Okay.
So I just want to finish this. So I go to these families and I go, hey guys, you're in a bad situation. Let me just take over that 2, 3, 4% rate. Sometimes I get 5 or 6% rates. And then, you know, maybe I close them. Maybe I don't. I don't love them, but these are, as we can agree, way better than 8% rates, which most people are going to the bank to get. Right.
Right.
All right. So I take that house, I buy it. Okay. And I'll kind of show you what I'm doing on a deal right now that helps you understand the math on this. I'm buying a house in Phoenix right now for $406,000. I'm taking over the mortgage, which means I'm not coming up with $406,000, but I am taking over the 4% payment is what I'm doing. Okay. The money I am coming up with is the seller wants $8,000 to walk away from their mortgage. The agent is like, yo, I need to get paid too. And the agent's getting $8,000. Then I'm using, obviously, a title company. I use a company called getcreativetitle.com. They need to be paid as well. And let's say that that's $5,000. I use a transaction coordinator. I use what we call in the business a top tier transaction coordinator. If you are a woman out there that's like, I want to make more money and make money from home, this is a really great thing to learn how to do. Top tier transaction coordinator.
Yeah.
I've got coordinators that are making 50 grand a month, coordinators that are making 10 grand a month, coordinators are making 6 grand a month, just depending on what you want to put into it. So I'll pay that top tier TC like $1,200 for her doing the paperwork on the file. Okay. Cool. Well, guess what? I also am going to make the first month's payment to that bank, and I will make sure that first month's payment is covered, which is $2,700. Okay. I will go get all this money. Okay. I will go borrow all of this money, Lolita. I will bring all this money to the table. I'll go to somebody in my community, one of my gators, and I will borrow all of this money, $8,000, $8,000, $5,000, $1,200, $2,700. I will close on the deal, get everybody paid. I will own the property, and then I'll turn around to the Lolitas of the world and I'll say, hey, Lolita, remember you're on this Pace Gives website that you're waiting for me to find you a house? I found a house. This is not a house for you, by the way. $2,700, I would imagine, is probably a little high for your budget right now.
Yeah.
Okay. But we have houses that we find that are $500 a month. We find houses that are $15,000 a month. Just depends on the types of houses. Okay. So I find these houses and I go to people like you on my list, pacegives.com. If you guys are listening right now and you're like, I want Pace to find me a house to live in too, go to pacegives.com. I will find you a house. Me and my students will help you find it. You know, somebody just said Carlton Sheets, the godfather of sub two. I love that. I would argue against that, though. I talked to Carlton Sheets the day he passed away, Eric Graves. Him and I were good friends. Really appreciated him. He told me multiple times, he said, you took this to a level I never thought was possible. You did things in this industry I never thought I could even do. You imagined things, you perfected a process. And by the way, the godfather of creative finance was born way before Carlton Sheets was born. You look at this little thing on my wall right here behind me. This is called a deed. This is a seller finance deed that's 300 years old that Sam Adams' wife did a sub two deal and sold their land to one of the generals in their army. It's been around a long time, my friends. A long time. Well before Carlton Sheets, well before me. It's been around a long, long time. I'm just the pioneer that actually made it work for everybody in the country. We perfected the process in all 50 states because every state is a little bit different. We, as a community, have changed the game. Okay. So Carlton Sheets was awesome. Good friend of his, but, we took it to another level. He's awesome. Okay. So in the Pace Gives program, Lolita, I would find you a house just like this. And I'd say, hey, Lolita, how much money do you have to just come in and give me a deposit? How much do you have? Do you have 5,000? Do you have 3,000? Do you have 2,000? Do you have 1,000? What do you have?
I would say if this was a realistic question, I have 1,000.
Okay, cool. I could get you into a house for $1,000. I could make the first month's payment. You pay $1,000 as a deposit to me. I get you in that house, and I could make you the owner of the house without a bank, without credit check, without tax returns, without any of that kind of crap. I could get you into a house, and I could do it anywhere in the country. If I were you, I would learn this strategy way before I ever learned wholesale.
That actually was like my plan to do.
And the reason for that is this: creative finance will always freaking win in no matter what market you're in. Creative finance wins all day, every day.
Right.
I could take this deal and I could go and wholesale it. I could keep it in my portfolio. I don't use a bank one time. I don't use any of my own money. Okay. So just letting you know that creative finance is the way. It is not a way. It is the thing you should learn.
Right.
Everything else is a waste of your time. And the reason being is because creative finance is not only how do you, your home sold guaranteed or will buy says, how can I ask questions? You just did. You got to love the people that just come in here and they're like, is this live?
No, I'm laughing because it's the name for me. I know it just sounds like one of those billboards that you see. Like if you in a bad car accident, like call like 1-800 stuff. It just reminds me.
100%. So creative finance is not only a way to acquire property. So Lolita, you ever see people talk about like Section 8 nowadays?
Yeah. Well, yes, because I actually stay in a low income apartment at the moment. So yes, not on Section 8, but yeah.
People talk about like, oh, I want to do Section 8. It's like, okay, but how are you going to buy the property? Oh, Section 8 is an exit strategy, not a way of buying properties. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So buying a property, you can't buy a property Section 8. You can only rent it out as a Section 8. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Creative finance is the only strategy that you can acquire the properties and sell the properties. And what's cool about creative finance, like sub 2 seller finance, you got a lot of videos to watch on my YouTube channel. So watch and watch and watch. Creative finance is the only thing that you can do that avoids banks, avoids using your own money, avoids credit checks, all that kind of stuff. Lawrence Swartz says, Pace, what happens if the seller of a sub 2 dies at some point in a post-transaction? Will the bank call the note? Lawrence Swartz, welcome to the show. Welcome to my world. We've talked about this probably about 20 times. Okay. I own 5 homes from sellers who are already dead before I bought their house. Okay. Matthew Pryor, can I be a little bit rude with you, Matthew? You are not taking action at all. You are not taking action at all. And the reason I know that is because if you were talking to sellers and doing what I just said we're doing and calling agents who are having a hard time selling the house, you would realize that nobody's sold their house to me because they thought the bank was coming after them. They're selling the house to me because I'm their highest offer, I'm their best offer, and I'm their best chance for them to move on. Okay. Check this out. Ashley Megan says, Pace, as one of your students since August, I want to thank you for your guidance. I've closed 4 deals with 3 in the past 2 months. I wish I started sooner. Can't wait for you to see you in Maine that we officially closed today. Super proud of you, Ashley. I will be in Maine pretty soon, actually. Super excited about hanging out with you. There you go. Myron Briley says so many deals are not in foreclosure. I would say the majority of my deals are not in foreclosure. The majority are not in foreclosure. And I want to learn how to fix and flip. Which program is good for me? Sub 2, Gator. Gator is how to fund other people's deals. Sub 2 is how to find your own deals. Okay. Steven Garcia says creative is screwing people over. I love it. You've never spoken to a seller that's ever done a sub 2 deal, ever one time. How do I know? Because I've brought my sellers on Get Creative multiple times. I invite my sellers to my seminars. They come on stage with me and they're like, this saved my life. Absolutely saved my life. Steven Garcia, there's no way you are an active real estate investor. Physically impossible. Physically impossible that you are in the game of real estate and are actively taking any action whatsoever. You should change your YouTube name to Not Taking Action Steven. Okay. And how do I know that? I've been doing this a long enough time that when you actually are in the game, you'll go, holy crap. Top lender in the state. Oh, this is too good. Steven, bro, how about this? Steven, I will pay you $10,000 if you can find a seller and bring them on my show that's ever been screwed by it. And more importantly, I was the top lender in the state, buddy. And I left that business because you don't own your business, Steven. The Fed owns your business. The Fed owns your business. When the Fed decides to raise the rates or lower the rate, guess what? Some other man is going to hurt your feelings, but some other man is determining whether you can make money or not. How does that feel? Being the top lender in the state, buddy. You still have to answer to Uncle Powell, who tells you how much money and whether you're going to make money. Look at loan officers in the last 18 months. They have completely gotten destroyed. Most of them are just leaving the industry. And they're driving bus. They're going and starting construction jobs because they're like, oh, man, Loan Depot, all these other people are beating our butt. You don't like me because we completely kick your ass. And I don't need you. It hurts your feelings. And I would love to meet you and become your friend. Truly, I don't mean this in any hateful way. I just know where it comes from. Abbas Raza says, who is it that quit their job? Chris Geddes. A little over 5,000 of my community members have quit their job. A lot of them are loan officers. Okay. And when you are an agent and you hate on sub 2, just wait until you have a listing that me or one of my students calls you on and we're your only solution. Okay. Why is this guy even on here? He doesn't believe in it. I'll tell you why, Paul. You know, Howard Stern, okay, it was so interesting listening to his statistics on his show. The average Howard Stern fan listened to his show 2 hours every day. The average Stern hater listened to his show 4 hours a day. They're secretly fans. And so your haters are secretly fans. In fact, I would tell you, if you hate me and you come and spend a day with me, by the end of the day, check this out. This is so brand new. This photo. This is so brand new. I will actually pull this up for you guys so you guys can see this. I'm still wearing the same shirt. And Steven Garcia, he's upset. He's frustrated. I get it, man. You want to make more money, but your job's not doing that for you. See this lady right here named Sherilyn. I just helped her out of foreclosure. No lender would refinance her. Your profession, Steven, could not help this lady out of foreclosure. She tried to do a refinance and you guys treated her like shit. Okay. Well, it's not my fault. It's the underwriter. Okay. So you don't own your own business. You can't make determinations. Steven, if you want to learn how to really make money, no matter what's going on in the marketplace, learn how to do creative finance. Learn how to I would love, Steven, in fact, reach out to me privately. I will spend an entire day with you. I won't film it. I won't record it. Come with me on appointments. Come with me on appointments and tell me that these people are not getting helped more. This lady right here, Sherilyn, I'll give you the address. I'm doing this deal actually with Graham Stephan from Iced Coffee Hour. Okay. I don't know if you know him or not, but happy to walk through and help you out. Creative Insights. It doesn't matter. Creative Insights. Pace has documented proof over and over and over and over. I even have a website called pacesproof.com where I list out. Oh, here's another one. I got a really good one. Check this one out. Lolita, let me show you how much proof I got. Okay. Mm-hmm. Steven Garcia, he just be hating. Just it is what it is, you know? And my wife sent me a DM today from what's her name? She's so awesome. Mel Robbins. And she said, some people threw flowers at me and some people threw dirt at me. Funny thing is I needed both to build a garden. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's so good. And so I'm okay with it. Steven, you can't beat me. You might as well join me, bro. Let's hang out. Steven Garcia says, I feel like y'all take advantage. Name one person I've ever taken advantage of. Name one. I put my sellers on YouTube, Steven. I give you their addresses. I have a list of every address I've ever done a sub-2 deal on. Every address. I'll give you Steven, let me show you my Slack channel and you can pull up all the addresses. Okay. I know Creative Insights. Steven, I'm going to pull up my Slack channel and let's go through. And by the way, how can I take advantage of people, bro? I'm giving them twice as much as every other cash investor has ever given them. Gloria says, we don't want that energy. I agree, Gloria, but sometimes you just got to let the people throw the dirt at you so I can keep growing and cultivating my garden. And I want you guys to know something. The bigger you get, the more people's lives you change. There's always a hater 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. And I pray to God in my life that I never am a hater of somebody else. What a horrible feeling to be in that you're sitting there going, I feel so frustrated. I have to type my hate towards somebody on a YouTube comment. And this is just good for you guys. There's going to be people ahead of you. Okay. There's going to be people that are making more money than you. Instead of hating on them, collaborate with them. Steven's never met a single seller of mine. Steven's never watched my 3,000 YouTube videos. Steven's frustrated about something that's going on in his life, and I'm here for it. I'm okay with that, Steven. I get it. I've been there too. I was a loan officer in my state as well. I was #1 loan officer in 203K loans, #1 guy. Y'all are tweaking. I'm not hating. Steven, you are hating. You said multiple times. Should we go up to the comments, Steven? Because I'll go to the comment. I'll go to the first comment you made to me about how I take advantage of people and that I'm scamming people. I'll go to the comment. If that's not hating, I don't know what it is. Is that giving me my flowers while I'm alive? What is that all about? Okay, so let's pull this up real quick. I got a Slack channel. This will help you out, Steven. And I will give you my Slack channel so that you can go and pull up these addresses. And I want you to reach out to my sellers on these houses, okay? You see all these houses, Steven? These are all real houses. You can take a screenshot of them. These are multifamily properties. These are single family properties. These are RV parks. These are all, the Drummer. That's a good one. We bought 2 houses right next to each other. That's a great deal. I could go on and on and on. I think I've given you enough. I could just keep going on and on and on. Stephen, these are properties that I've actively just purchased all sub 2 or seller finance in the last probably 60 days. Okay. So Stephen, you go find a single seller that I've ever done any business with that didn't walk away saying my agent was an absolute idiot. They couldn't get my house sold. My loan officer would not do a refinance for me. I was stuck in a bad situation. You find one of them. Find one. In fact, what I'll do is next week, I'm going to bring Cheryl in on either this week or next week. Okay. I will bring on Cheryl in next week. I already released the seller call, by the way. I don't know if it's out on the YouTube video, but it's my first call I made with her 2 weeks ago. And she says to me, my agent hasn't been able to sell the house. My loan officer turned me down. I'm in a bad situation. I'm going to lose the house, blah, 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 blah. Well, Stephen might say, well, she was in foreclosure. Of course I can't give her a loan. Perfect. So I can help people in foreclosure, but you can't. And I'm the person that takes advantage of people. In fact, I've helped hundreds of sellers in foreclosure that I did nothing. I made no money on because I have the power and the intelligence and the education and the skill set to do so. You have the ability to give people loans only when somebody tells you can. I would be upset and frustrated too. And I get that. So I'm here for it. Stephen, I'm being dead serious, bro. If you meet one person that's ever taken advantage of, stolen to, lied to, any of that kind of stuff, show them to me. You'll be showing me somebody that's never met me before. And by the way, I do a lot of deals with agents. I love them. I love doing deals with real estate agents. I rarely do deals with loan officers. Why? Because you guys are just lending somebody else's money when somebody else tells you can. Okay. Justin says, please, Pace, don't waste your time talking to trolls. Guys, I'm really actually just teaching you guys a lesson as well. And honestly, I'm sending an olive branch to Stephen and saying, hey, bro, come spend the day with me. Fly, come spend the day with me. Come fly and spend the day with me. I will take you on appointments and you show me a seller that I can. Stephen Garcia obviously has never watched any of my content. Stephen, I've had 10 loans called due. And if you actually go to my YouTube channel and you actually learn, okay, how to overcome the due on sell clause, you'll go, holy crap, that due on sell thing is a freaking joke. Wow, I can't believe. And what's funny, Stephen, you've never met a single person that's ever had a loan called due. As a loan officer, you've never had somebody get a loan called due. You don't know one person in your life that has ever had their loan called due. John Frederick, 10 out of how many? We own a title company. Stephen Garcia says, yes, I have. What's their name, Stephen? And what's their address? I'll give you addresses. You give me addresses. You'll never meet one person you've known. Never one. Produce names and addresses right now or else it didn't happen. Okay. And by the way, Ashley Megan, also, she's only been in this business since August, has done sub 2 deals. She says the due on sell clause is easy to overcome. Also in the contract, the seller signs, boom. She knows the answer. Okay. We own a title company in 50 states, Steve. We do thousands and thousands and thousands of transactions. Okay. Tens of thousands of sub 2 and seller finance transactions, tens of thousands. Okay. Stephen, I want you to go and do some research on something called an executory contract. It's not something they would teach you in loan officer school, and it's not something you'd learn in your continued education, but it's called an executory contract. It's legal in all 50 states. Okay. Go type it into my YouTube channel. I just actually posted one, I think yesterday or the day before. I give you some pretty good information on it. Then what I want you to do is I want you to go to your attorney in whatever state you're in, Stephen, and I want you to ask them about executory contracts. Can I do a land contract? Can I do a contract for deed? Can I do an agreement for sale? Can I do a bond for sale? A bond for deed? Can I do any of these things to avoid the due on sale clause? And your attorney will say, yeah, you can. And you'll go, crap, why did everybody tell me to worry about due on sale clause? And you'll realize that the due on sale clause is a joke. Okay. Steven, send me a DM. I'd love to spend a day with you. And I'm going to be honest, guys, he's not being a jerk. He just has the information he has, and he just needs to be informed better. That's it. Okay, cool. So Lolita, I'd love to help you get into a house. No lender is going to help you do that. If you went to a bank right now, if you went to Steven Garcia's office or any of his colleagues in the industry and you went to a loan officer and you said, hey, I want to get a house, what would they say to you?
No.
Perfect. So
It's like this. Like I know I don't have the income. I know like the credit, like capital, like all that stuff. Even like now, even with renting here, like you have to make 3 times the rent, like from your with your net, not even your gross. So it's like, yeah.
Perfect. Now, what I do for people is I actually would coach you along, Lolita. Here's what I would teach you to do. I'd get you a house that's probably like a 4-bed, 2-bath house, something that you probably could not afford. And here's why I would tell you to do that. I would actually tell you to go get a roommate that would rent out the other 2 rooms from you. Maybe another single mom, right? So let's say how much is your rent where you live right now?
I don't know if you believe me if I told you.
Tell me.
So okay, so like I said, I'm staying in low income. So right now, hopefully nobody from the office is watching this. So right now, all they have is my child support income. So that's like, I was trying to think what it is every 2 weeks. I get every 2 weeks, but monthly is $204. And I think it's like they take 30% of that. So my rent is like $37 a month right now.
$37?
Literally $37.
Okay. What do you do? How do you do for work? What do you do for work?
Right now I am, I work for a collections agency, basically. So like customer service plus collections agency. So like I am working. I haven't reported that as of yet.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So here's, yeah, see, he says, yeah, I can't even get you a shoebox. Steven, I could. Steven, I'd love to teach you how to actually help people. We don't need more loan officers. I'm sorry. I left the business as a loan officer because it's a dime a dozen. Anybody can go take a 2-week class and become a loan officer. We don't need more. Okay. We don't need more. Steve Chang says it's YouTube people like y'all who scam black folks like us. Interesting. I'd love to know one black person I've ever scammed. I'd love to know one person I've ever scammed, but thank you. Okay, so Steven says I can't even get you a shoebox, and I don't think he means that rude, but he's just saying like, hey,
yeah,
I
to
get
be
it.
honest.
Okay, you got it. $37 and you're getting her house. Yes. Here's what I would do, Steven. I would actually teach her how to go. See, this is where loan officers and people that are so small-minded, this is what they're doing. They don't care about people. Lolita, do you feel like you grew up in a family that had financial education, that somebody could give you a spoon in your mouth that could start you off with a great life and give you this amazing education?
No, everything I've learned is pretty much self-taught. I went to go find the information on my own. So no, there wasn't that luxury. I grew up, hood, now granted, I was fortunate enough to where, even though I grew up in the hood, like I had my grandmother, my great grandmother, they did spoil me. So I had like the name brand clothes and stuff like that. So, versus, other kids that, was on like, Section 8 or welfare, could barely, buy like socks, shoes, food, stuff like that, so I had it, I was blessed to have a little bit better, but long story short, no, there was no silver spoon for me. Like, no.
Yeah. You know what? It makes me like, I think the problem with Steven is thinking in the traditional minded world, right? Where the politics dictate what your life, what happens with your life. What the Fed is doing is what dictates with your income. Steven, learn how to create value, brother. Like the loan terms that you're giving out to your borrowers weren't created by you. They were created by somebody else. So you're basically doing somebody else's bidding all day long. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I'm just trying to get you to think like, maybe there's some ways that you could learn how to create value in other people's lives. Like, you know what I could do for you, Lolita? What I would do is I'd say, all right, why don't I show you how to house hack? I go get you a house. I close on it. Maybe I save somebody from foreclosure. Maybe I don't. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's just somebody's like, hey, take my house. I don't want it. And what if the house payment is $800 a month? You're going to look at that and go, I don't want that house. But what if I could show you how to rent out half your house to somebody else for $800-900 a month and make the payment and live there for free?
I'll be open to that.
You better be. Otherwise, I'll give it to somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
So the challenge with this is like you have all these people on Bigger Pockets that talk about, oh, house hack, house hack, house hack. So realtor Eric says, could you help her? Yeah, real Eric, we've been talking about this. I said, where did I get the deal? Did I walk through like how I do all this stuff, Lolita, or did I just like we jump out of thin air talking about random stuff?
No, like no, you walk through. And I think people are really taking because I said like child support, whatever. No, I do like actually work, y'all. Like I do make 16 an hour. Like child support is just what I reported to where I'm currently staying because that's all I had at the time when I moved in where I'm at. So, but even still, like the traditional mindset, okay, you may have that, but 16 an hour again because rent, like say like rent is like most places here to rent is like 1,800, you know, probably like on the low end 1,800 is more than that. Even then, okay, low end 1,800, you still have to make 3 times that. And again, that's your net, not your gross. So I still won't qualify to rent. So I get the traditional mindset. Well, you can't even afford to pay rent in a regular house. How you expect to buy an actual house and you can't make regular market rent?
You know, here's what's challenging about like being in America, right? So you've got our federal government that's taking billions of dollars, giving it to Ukraine, giving it to other countries. Yet we have people like Lolita you have a job, you have children, and you're trying to afford and build a better life. And everywhere you turn, the traditional methods of trying to get into a house and afford a place to live and be an investor. No, 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 no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I come along and I say, hey, I can actually show you how to change your life. There's legal ways to be able to do this, seller finance, subject to. If Steven doesn't like subject to, I'll do this for you with seller finance. I'll do this with seller finance, no subject to. And Steven will still be like, oh, I would never do that for her. I couldn't even get her a shoebox. Okay, I got it. Steven, I'd love to spend a day with you, bro, and like show you how we actually change people's lives. Nobody needs another loan officer. What we need are people that are actually going to help the affordability crisis in America. And being a loan officer isn't going to solve that problem. Okay. What is the greater problem that you are trying to solve besides trying to just get yourself rich by being a loan officer? Okay. I have hundreds of families in my portfolio that I have helped by seller financing houses to them so they can move into that just moved to America, just barely got their green card, just barely became a citizen. Maybe somebody that has a husband that passed away and their income got completely obliterated. Think about being a woman who has 2 or 3 kids, husband gets killed, whatever that may be, truck driver. We had a lady that her husband was killed in combat. Okay, she had a lack of income. She had a lack of help more than anything else.
Right.
And now the thought is, well, she'll figure it out. Let's just keep giving money to people that have money.
Basically.
Let's just keep giving money to people who have money. Why don't we create structures where if Lolita can't make her payment, I can go to Lolita and say, hey, this didn't work out. I'm going to take the house back. You'd be open to that, right, Lolita?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I can still take the house back and I can go to Lolita and say, hey, what I'm going to do, Lolita, is you show me that you can make these payments to me for a year and I'll be your bank. And if you can show me for a year, perfect. The house is yours. You can have it. There's 100 different ways I can skin the cat, but telling people I can't help them and being like, hey, I can't even get you a shoebox based on $37. I agree with him. But why not think about it creatively, Steven? Why not think about, hey, what if I taught her how to go get another mom, maybe with another kid, and have that mom pay $800 a month? What's the average rent in Indianapolis right now?
I would say probably right now will be like I said, that low end. I haven't really looked, but I know it's like 1,800, maybe $2,000.
Okay, so let's look it up. Average rent in Indianapolis is $1,195 for an 870 square foot apartment. So $1,200. Okay, so that's usually like 1 bedroom, maybe a 2 bedroom if you're really lucky. Okay, so if I could find somebody that gets let's say I find you a 4-bed, 2-bath house in Indianapolis and the payment's like $1,200 a month. Okay. Which I can do that. And you have somebody move in, they get 2 of the bedrooms and 1 of the bathroom and you guys share the kitchen, but they cover the payment on the house and they're renting from you. You have no payment on the house. You just have utility costs. Is that not something you would do to own a property?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Apparently I'm a scammer though. Right. So it is tough, right? When you work with people that are in the traditional mindset, I had here. I'll show you. I have the greatest email the other day. I get a gentleman sends me an email. He says, "Pace, I've hated on you for 4 years." He's a loan officer and a real estate agent. I wonder why he's both, because he can't be successful at either one. That's why. Sends me an email and he says, "I watched your last webinar where you gave away addresses. You showed proof. You showed settlement statements. You showed HUDs. You showed legal jargon. You showed the IRS website of exactly how to do sub-2 deals and how to write it off on your taxes. You showed Fannie and Freddie's website of exactly how to do these transactions. You showed the HUD website that showed you exactly how to do it as well. And I'm blown away, dude. I thought you were a scam artist for 4 years. Now I feel stupid." He's flying out. We're spending a day together. You'll get this the rest of your life, guys. Anytime you do something that's against the grain, the people that have been sucked into the traditional world, it's called conformity. It's called conformity. People conform to the regular world. And when somebody's doing something else, okay, sounds like you're the hater, the way you talk about everyone. I didn't say anything rude. Actually, yeah, I did. You're right, Stephen. I'm not a hater. I'm in response. Okay. So what happens is there's people, even with Stephen, here's the thing. Stephen didn't just reply back and go, "Dude, I freaking love this idea for Lolita." It's impossible for his mindset to allow him to do that.
It's wired a certain way. Once you're programmed and wired a certain way, it's hard to break that, especially with Ben for so long. It's hard to be open to anything else, or anything is a possibility, because it's like, no, how can that be possible?
Right. And more importantly, he already has an opinion about you, Lolita, and he has an opinion about people that are disenfranchised or people that don't have money. So his thought is like, why would you ever help this person? Ashley says, "Pacey's wasting our time." I don't think so, guys. I think the lesson here for everybody in here, 400 people, I think the lesson is that no matter what you do, no matter how much you help people, you name one person that's ever seen me taking advantage of another person. We give cars away. We give houses away. We give money away. You ever meet one person that's like, "Yeah, that guy took advantage of me. He said he was going to do something. He didn't do it. That guy stole this from that person," or whatever else. You find one person and have them meet me in person and show me proof. It's physically impossible. It's never happened. Never. I wouldn't sit here on a live with you, Stephen. I would have blocked you. Stephen, think about when you go to bed tonight. When I told you exactly how she could afford this house is by house hacking. That your first response wasn't, "Damn, dude, you're right. I could help this lady." Is there somebody in foreclosure right now in Indianapolis, Indiana? Stephen Garcia. The answer is yes. There's thousands of people.
Yeah, I can answer that. Yeah.
Okay, so could I not go to those people and say, "Hey, I want to help you out of foreclosure so your credit doesn't get shot, so the loan officers in the future don't turn you down because they have to turn you down because you have bad credit"? Can I help you? Can I help you get into another place to stay? Can I help you move? Stephen, have you ever gone to a lady who was a widow, 91 years old, had nowhere to stay, helped her move into a funeral, not a funeral home, but in like a rest home, and not make any money off of it? We've done that dozens of times. We help so many people. We bought a moving truck just to help people move into their next place because they don't have family or friends. Stephen, you and I are spoiled, bro. Spend a day with me. Come spend a day with me and Lolita. Lolita lives a very different life. She came from a very different background than I did and you did. And the whole thought process of I am better than them and I will only give money to the people who have money. Bro, that's a 1950s thought process. The thought process now, 2024 and going forward, is like, how can I help everybody? Maybe think about that. How could I help Lolita? The bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. Now, how do I make money? I just did a 4-hour training on this the other day, Sunday. I broke down exactly how I make money on this kind of stuff. Okay. So Stephen, I'd love nothing more than you to, in 6 months, go, "Holy crap. I've got a portfolio. I'm not using the bank. I'm doing seller finance deals." Stephen, the majority of my multifamily and RV parks have no sub-2 deals. It's just seller finance. I do a lot of seller finance too. So you got a problem with sub-2? Great, perfect. How about we just talk about seller finance? I can't overcome your thought process on that. Why wouldn't you buy a deal seller finance and turn around and help somebody like a Lolita? Can we all agree that affordability is going to be our country's biggest problem over the next 20 years? Lolita, all of a sudden, is the debt collection service that you work for, they're going to just give you a 20% raise and then another 20% raise and another 20% raise? Or do you think they've figured out exactly how little they can pay you so that you can barely pay your bills. And they're going to only give you a raise when they feel like they're going to lose you.
Yes, exactly that.
Cool. So guys, that's the thought process. All right. The thought process is, how can I help more people? And you'll never solve a problem with somebody. You're right, Stephen. He's saying you're putting words in his mouth. I agree. Stephen, let me ask you a question. If you could somehow solve a foreclosure, and let me throw away all this stuff. You're right. I apologize, Stephen. If you could throw away everything else that we've talked about so far, and you could learn a skill of getting a deal under seller finance, forget about subject to. Let's say I go get a seller finance deal, and I could turn around and I could get somebody like Lolita into that deal, and I could be the bank, and I could help her house hack that house. Isn't that something that you want to learn? And isn't that a good idea? Or is the thought process of I don't care, she can't afford things, still the way that you want to think? Because if you can at least say that, then we got something to talk about. Otherwise, like, why even pay attention to me? Gerardo Martinez, every time somebody has spent the day with me, that has hated on me, every single one of the days they've spent with me, they walk away going, holy crap, I was wrong. Okay. If you can prove that she can make the payments, for sure. Yeah, cool. I would help her find a tenant to stay in the property to cover the payments. That's how I would do it.
Let's see. Okay, so I have a question with that. So yeah. I'm open with a tenant. However, because of how many children that I do have.
How many do you have?
Okay. I have 5.
You don't want your kids intermingling with other kids and having problems and all that kind of stuff.
No, it's not. It's not that. The only reason I'm hesitant, I'm not trying to put too much of my business out there, but I am going through a situation with me and my ex-husband right now concerning our kids. I have 3 little ones with him, and my 3 little ones in the middle are not with me at the moment, and I am fighting for them, if you will. Mm-hmm. So, just of course making sure that I'm stable and everything. I don't have enough roommate. It's fine. I just don't know how. I just don't know how the courts are going. I'm just gonna be blunt about it. I don't know how the courts are going to view that right now because of everything I'm going through right now, which is a bunch of bullcrap and lies. Of course, affording an attorney right now for me, it's crazy and having proper representation. So, is there a way for me that I could possibly, again, a roommate thing is fine. Is there a way that I can still do this without the roommate? That's my question.
Yeah, you could, but your payment's going to be, let's say I find something that you have a payment's $1,000 a month. Could you afford $1,000 a month right now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, then yeah, you easily can do it. I assumed you couldn't make the payment.
No,
so I said, why not house hack?
Mm-hmm.
Sean Bailey says, hey, I'll take Steven's place. I'll pay my own way and I'll make you a cutting board Pace. Guys, I'm wearing my shirt. Ironically, it's called A Day with Pace. I have given 700 people a Thursday of my life for the next year. So I'm inviting 12 people a week on Thursday to spend an entire day with me. It's called A Day with Pace. You guys can go see it on the YouTube channel. I've already given away 520 of them. I have like 180 more. Okay. And, this is good. Tyrone Williams says they scammed us and took our equity. Tyrone, can you email me? I'd love to hear this story. I'd love to interview you actually. Tyrone Williams, send me an email. I'll give you my email right now. pacejmorby@me.com. Send me an email. It's right there in the side chat. I'm all about it. I'd love to hear this. I'd love to hear your story. Pace, could she get a duplex and house hack it? Yeah, she could, but the challenge is Creative Insights. We have to find, I don't look for houses. I look for pain, right? And then whatever house comes along with that pain is how we solve that problem. So when somebody's in pain, like for example, we've got Tyrone. He says, hey, somebody scammed me out of my equity. Nobody can scam you out of equity. You actually sign a contract twice. So you sign a purchase and sell agreement. Okay. You sign a purchase and sell agreement when you sign the contract with somebody. You take that signed contract, which is, in our community, it's a 10-page deal. Tyrone says, why steal somebody's house? Physically impossible for somebody to steal your house. I own a title company. It's physically impossible for somebody to steal your house, Tyrone. Email me. Tell me all about it. I'd love to break it down. And I'm open to hearing exactly how that happened. But you signed 2 sets of documents. So you signed a purchase and sale agreement, okay, which was probably 10 pages. Okay. And then the next thing you did is you went to a title company and they made you sign closing documents that was like 50 documents. And it was notarized by a notary. So you had a witness to your signature. But Tyrone says, prove it. You're the one saying somebody scammed you. I don't know how to prove something that happened to you. Email me. Break it down. There's no real estate transaction in the world that does not require a purchase and sale agreement to be signed. Oh, he's saying, prove it right now. You aren't stealing their equity. How about the houses that don't have equity, Tyrone? Tyrone, email me. I will do a whole dedicated video just for you. Like, I'll do a Zoom with you. And I'll give you addresses. And he says, I'll prove it to you. You guys steal. Perfect. Please email me. Tyrone says, sub 2 is illegal. Tyrone, we have closing attorneys in all 50 states and Puerto Rico that do these transactions and have done them for 20, 30, 40 years. Oh, that's what he's doing. Tyrone's trying to get a day with me. That makes sense. My cousin's attorney. Perfect. Tyrone, please, bro. I would love this more than anything else. You and your attorney, me and my handful of attorneys, let's have a conversation and let's pull up all the legislation. You know, the Supreme Court has deemed sub 2 legal multiple times. The Supreme Court. There's actual case law in the Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court. Pace, are you having any issues with haters? You just get some. Sometimes they get, every once in a while, like maybe once a year, you'll get somebody. And then they're upset. He's not been scammed. I think he's trying to get a day with Pace is what he's trying to do. Okay, there it is. It's super smart. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Okay, so Lolita, here's what I want you to do. You're already signed up with pacegives.com, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start that program probably. Nobody's hating though. Stephen, the definition of hating is saying things that are incorrect or just getting wild. Like if you go back through Tyrone's stuff, Stephen, if he's saying it's illegal, you're scamming people, you're taking their equity, but he doesn't have a single address. And I've told him to email me. I'm looking at my email right now, has not emailed me. I'm here. I'd love to have the conversation. Stephen, you should email me or DM me. Let's get together. Let's spend some time together. Okay. I've never once met somebody that could come to me and show me sub 2 is illegal. Malik says, why do we keep responding to Stephen? Malik, I think I told you, I think it's a good lesson for you as you grow and scale in the business, that nothing you can do, no matter how well you treat people, no matter how much free content you provide, no matter how much, no, Jungle Joe Crypto is not a waste of time. Guys, it is not a waste of time when you talk to your haters. It highlights to other people that are behind you that need to come up in the game. You're going to have it. If that doesn't even motivate you more. In fact, a lot of times I'll wake up and man, I haven't had a hater in like 4 months. I must not be doing anything cool. I must not be doing anything cool. Remember that, write that down. If you don't have haters, you're not doing enough. That's it. And then I'm also so inviting to all my haters, come to my office, meet my attorneys, come to my title company, come see how we close the transactions. Let's break down the Supreme Court hearings. Let's show you literally tens of thousands of sub 2 deals. Let's do it. Let's break it down. And either way, my only goal is to tell people that it actually helps sellers. And I've never had one transaction. I'll list out, I have a Google Drive of all my transactions, my sellers' information, my sellers' phone numbers, my sellers' emails. Stephen, I will give it to you like I've given it to thousands of people. I say, call my sellers. Call my sellers right now and ask them, one of them. Ask any of them if they've ever been taken advantage of. They will all tell you the same thing. They'll tell you the same thing, which is Pace. Here, check this out. I'll give you this one's a good one. I just got this one not too long ago. I'll pull this one up for you, Lolita. Lolita's over there in Indianapolis going, gosh, when's this guy going to stop?
I am fine.
I got 5 kids. This guy's just keeps going on and on and on. It's crazy.
They are in the bed sleep right now, so it is mama time right now.
Oh, okay, good. So mom can learn some stuff, which is cool. And so for me, it is important to highlight these things and have conversations with people that are, Steven doesn't want to be called a hater. And so I won't call him a hater. Somebody who is, has a differing opinion, but will say it in a way of like, you're taking advantage of people, which is kind of a hateful comment, especially when you're not fully educated on the process. Right. So he's not a hater. Totally get it. Love it. No problem. Let me pull this up. Okay. I get so many of these types of emails. Let's go scam. Let's see. This will be good. Here's one right here. Just got this a couple of days ago, actually, June 12th. So 5 days ago. This guy's super sweet. Had a good conversation with him. We're probably going to bring him on the podcast. I did a training and he's like, hey, he said, I owe you an apology. I was not a believer. My self-doubt made me doubt you. I spent the last few months thinking you and Sub2 had to be a scam or a Ponzi scheme of some sort. I'm now a believer, blah, blah, blah. But your Zoom today has inspired me to believe in you, myself, capable, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool, dude. That's awesome. He came back, said a bunch of nice things. Guys, I get so many of these things. So many. Okay. Let me show you a seller that I just did a deal with recently that gave me a testimonial just saying my agent wasn't able to help me. This person wasn't help me. I tried to sell my house for 6 months. Let's see. Okay. Love it. This one's a good one. I'll make it big for you guys so you guys can read it. Okay, so check this out. And by the way, I've told, if you guys want to email me and we do like a one-on-one Zoom, happy to do that too. Okay, so check it out. Here's my story. My wife and I had a beautiful home in Las Sendas. We built our house in 2002. After 17 years, needed some work. Not going to lie, we called the realtor. We advised the realtor we did not want to put a dime of our own money into the house since we were building a new home. This goes on and on and on and on. Okay, like just goes on. Let's see. Am I making this big enough? Okay, cool. Other realtors couldn't follow instructions. Other half, it just goes on. Okay. Check this out. After 44 showings, I said to my wife, check this out. After 44 showings, I said to my wife, it's time to call an investor. This is when I met Pace and his beautiful wife, Laura, and the kiddos. Pace came over the following day. Pace showed up on time, like he said he would. Pace sat down with my wife and explained every detail. I'd never heard of Subject to or any creative finance scenarios. I'm not in real estate, so I was all new to this. At the end of the day, it seemed like the only solution for us and honestly the best solution. After he explained everything about Subject to transactions, he's asked us if we had further questions, and we did. Even questions we didn't ask, Pace informed us about. This is where bond, trust, honesty shine through. He's without a blah, 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 blah. Pace tells it like it is, depending on the Okay, great. Pace even walked our new lender. Check this out, Stephen. Their new lender couldn't even figure out how to do this. So I had to walk their loan officer. Remember, I was a loan officer, Stephen. I know a thing or two about this. I even had to walk their lender through the approval process for their new loan because so many loan officers will go, oh my gosh, the DTI on a sub-2 deal. That's the most uneducated conversation. Okay. By the way, if you guys want, I'll bring Dave Byarski on the YouTube channel next week. The entire transaction went smoothly. I spoke to dozens of Pace's clients. I'm not going to lie. I felt like this was all too good to be true. Blah, 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 blah. Most of all, I've gained a wonderful friendship with Pace and Laura, which I'm very blessed to have. Okay, awesome. These are the types of emails I get weekly. Okay. I've also brought my sellers on YouTube. I've brought my sellers on stage. I've had my sellers write in my books that I've written. I had Bigger Pockets vet all my stories with my sellers, every single one of them. So for the people that are like, I just can't help myself. I just have to hate on all this stuff. Guys, email me, pacejmorby@me.com. Steven Garcia, I'll wait for your email. I'll give you my email right now. pacejmorby@me.com. Steven, we'll set up like a 1 hour thing. You can just tell me, are you this is a good question. Are you evicting her if she and the tenant fail to pay or moves out without a replacement? How long would you let her go without making a payment? 1 day. Lolita, you would sign an agreement that says, I can make my payment. I can't get her out of a house in 1 day, but I would give her an eviction just like anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would expect that.
Yeah.
So what'll also happen is people will go, well, you're going to get her the house and get her to move in, but then you're not going to let her just live there for free. Bro, what do you like? I've already helped a seller in foreclosure. I've helped this person own a house, and now I still have to let them live there for free.
That's not payments I have to pay. Like, yeah.
Come on. So you've got my email. It's right there in the side chat. It's also on the main screen, pacejmorby@me.com. If you have a negative thing to say, let's have a conversation. I'd love to have the conversation. Creative Insight says, Pace, I'm here in Indianapolis. I'd love to find her a home. Anything I can do to help Lolita, feel free to contact me. That's freaking dope. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Okay, cool. Exactly. So this entire plan hinges on a life going exactly right. You see, like, there's no way. Okay.
I mean, but you literally had just explained, like, if something were to happen, then like we'll see, like, if there's like an alternative, like if it's, you know, if I was to default or miss a payment or whatever, like you went over that scenario of what another, you know, possibility would be if that was to happen. Like,
there's just nothing you can do.
no, I am what it is. I am poor and I don't have disposable income, and I should have a job where you know, I've been there for 10 years. I make 50, 60 grand, if not more than that per year. You know, I should have all the things. My credit score should be 850, you know. I should come from the silver spoon, you know, mindset. I should already have that. Nope. No struggles, no hard lessons in life. Nope. Picture perfect.
Here's what I can tell you. Most of the people that are hateful came up in a family that they had opportunity, right? Mom and dad put them through college.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and dad gave them a job. Maybe dad owns a business that they could work at. Most of the haters also, and I've met a lot of them. I spent a lot of time with them. I give them a day with me. They all leave going, I'm an idiot every single time. And they apologize and we become friends.
Right.
And we do deals together. Justin says, so Pace, I'm just trying to bring the reality of the situation. Justin, we've already brought up the points you've already brought up.
Mm-hmm.
We've already brought them up. There's no point to bring them up again, right? Stephen Garcia says, to be fair, people that struggle can come up too. You're right.
Yeah.
By somebody else helping them, by getting opportunities, by having doors open to them. That is right, Stephen. And typically the people I hear say that kind of stuff are the people that come from a privileged background, me included. When I was in my 30s, I was like, freaking, why would I do this? And why would I help that person? That person can help them damn selves. Okay. Somebody else in here just woke up one day, said, I'm going to learn all this stuff and just start making a ton of money? Or did somebody give you an opportunity and take a chance on you?
Yeah.
Every single person that's had a come up has had somebody give them an opportunity and open a door for them. Every single time. Nobody just was like, all right, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to go land the perfect job and nobody's going to help me.
Yeah.
You got to do the work. You got to shake the bushes. Opportunities come out. Okay. So, Lolita, we could definitely help you. Pacegives.com. You are the kind of person I want to help. And I want to prove to people that affordability is actually a possibility. And when people also are hateful and they don't understand what's happening with the seller side, like I'll bring a couple of sellers in on Get Creative. It won't change a thing. Okay, I'll bring in Sherilyn, lady I just closed the other day. I'll bring in Heather, a real estate agent. Actually, here's what I'll do. Over the next like 4 weeks, okay, I'll bring in Heather, an agent that we just did a deal with, sub-2 deal, no equity. So when people are like, oh, you're stealing equity, they didn't have equity. That's why they sold to me.
Right.
I'll bring in the seller that we saved. I'll bring in Sherilyn, another seller that I did a direct to seller. So I worked a deal with her. She fired her agent because her agent couldn't sell the house. I worked out a deal with her. She's in foreclosure, single lady, kids can't help her.
Right.
And then I'll bring in a couple of other sellers, whatever you guys want me to do. You guys want me to bring in an attorney? I'll bring in an attorney. We'll talk about the legalities of sub 2. We've only done that 100 times on the channel, but the people that have an opinion about it won't go back and look. Typically haters are also, they lack resourcefulness as well.
Yeah,
They
the
just
old
lack
saying
resourceful.
goes, jealousy is as cruel as the grave, as the old saying goes.
Could you imagine living with somebody that's like that?
It'd be horrible because it's
Right.
always, as movies, this line is movies, criticize, criticize, criticize. Like, murmuring and complaining. It's miserable. No, I can't.
There you go. So we'll help you out, Lolita. We'll get you something. We're gonna open the program here in like 2-3 weeks. We're working out like launch details and getting people. Pace, where do you live? I live in Phoenix half the year. Mesa. I live in Mesa, Arizona. 8 months out of the year, and I live in Montana 4 months out of the year. My offices are in Tempe, Arizona, and Mesa, Arizona, and the Philippines. I also own a company out of the Philippines with like 300 employees. Is that what the community is? Pace? I don't know what that means. I'm so sorry. Our community is nationwide. You probably have a good 200 community members in the side chat today. We do meetups all the time. Go to whereispace.com. You'll see where I'm at. You'll see where I go. I've kind of paused a lot of where I'm traveling for the summer because I spend the summer in Montana. How are you going to take someone who pays $27 for housing and put her in a situation where she has to come up with $800 a month and pretend like this isn't a huge risk for her? Justin, I'm not pretending it's not a risk for her. But this is why I buy the house. I put the money together. I close on the house. I don't ask her to do that. I do that. I'm the backstop. I'm actually the person who carries the risk, Justin. In this situation, this is like a black belt ninja strategy where I close on a house and I buy a non-cash flowing deal and I go find somebody to live in it. I teach them how to house hack. 99% of the time, that's not what I'm doing. Most of what I'm doing is I put it into a pad split. I rent it out. Okay. I have 2,132 doors in my portfolio. 2,132 doors in my portfolio. I don't have probably more than 40 families I've helped in that group. Most everything is a rental. Okay. Steven Garcia says with no taxes. I don't know what that means. You are right. I didn't pay taxes. Justin, she works under the table, she says. Yes, she does currently pay under the, you are working under the table right now?
No, I'm not working on the table. No, I work a W-2 job making $16 an hour. No, I do not work under the table.
Okay, cool.
What I said, I think what people are getting confused though, because right now, again, I stay on low income. So when I moved in, all I had was my child support, which is why my rent is $37 because I get $204 a month. They only go by 30% of your income, people. So that is why. So currently, I have not reported my other income yet to the office, which is why my rent is still currently $37.
Yeah, and this is something honestly, like a lot of business owners don't like understand. As a business owner, I can't go to a loan officer and get a loan either, and I make millions of dollars and I can't get a loan. You're not much different than me. I can't go get a loan because they don't like the type of income I have, and also I file depreciation, so I show that I make $0. Right? Steven says she said she didn't claim it. She's not claiming it to her. She's hasn't. It's a newer job for her, Steven. Go back and rewatch it. She just hasn't reported it yet. Okay. There you go. And Justin, by the way, yeah, this is a good point. I've been talking about this too. Like the crown is heavy. When you want to be the best and you want to do cool things and help people, the crown that you wear is heavy. People will come after you. They'll criticize it. Justin says, I'm not even talking about the asset risk. I'm talking about her potentially having no place to stay because she gets evicted when her tenant doesn't come through. Justin, she says she doesn't need a tenant. She says she can make the payment on her own. So we shifted that conversation, right? But also, the main thing she doesn't want to worry about is I've got 5 kids. I'm going through a legal battle with my husband. I want my 5 kids. He wants to fight me because he doesn't want to pay child support. So he'd rather take the kids than pay child support or whatever situation's going on. And so she says, I'd rather live by myself so I don't have to show the courts that I have a roommate. Cool. So we shifted the conversation. Always provide a solution. Always look for another solution than what it was. Sometimes you got to pivot and go through stuff, right? So anyway, I bet you Steven Garcia is actually a really nice dude. I bet he's a nice dude. He just has been misinformed. I think, Steven, what you should do is come on an appointment with me. I think you should come on an appointment with me. I think you should meet with sellers that are going through what they're going through, and they've already fired an agent because they tried to sell the house for 6 months and they couldn't. I think you should come and meet with sellers that are in foreclosure. I think you should ask them questions and say, why was the realtor not able to help you? And why was the loan officer not able to help you? Why couldn't you get a loan modification? Why couldn't you get a this? Why couldn't you get a that? Come and ask the questions. Come and meet with them. Meet these people in person. It becomes a real situation for you. And then more importantly, let's say I get a deal and I lock it up and then I go, all right, Steven, what's the exit strategy? You should come, man. You should come and spend the day with me. Okay. Check this out. Evelyn Gray says, I know a young lady that went to high school with my daughter. She bought her first house sub 2 and 4 roommates. She now has a real estate portfolio over $5 million.
That's what's up.
People just, they're going to say, Evelyn, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, that's a scam. Nobody taught me that at my job. Okay. Nobody taught me that in college or at my loan origination school. The other thing is, Steven Garcia, what did you actually learn as a loan officer when you went to school? I didn't learn anything. I learned how to basically memorize a bunch of useless facts. I had to learn it on the job, right? So like we all learn things on the job by what we're doing. In fact, there's loan officers that specialize in luxury. There's loan officers that specialize in this. You can't know everything even as a loan officer in loan officer world, right? We can agree with that. Same thing in real estate. You can't know everything. So you got to, I'm nice jalabi. I don't know what that means. I think he's having a seizure or he's misspelling stuff. So, Steven, I've had a lot of fun with you, bro. You've been
I love
awesome.
your sense of humor, Pace, by the way. It's real with a hint of like sarcasm. Like it's
Well, I got to make it fun for me too, right?
right.
There we go. Monica says, so as a loan officer, even if asking that he could not get her a loan, but I would rather get bank statements and see how much income is coming in for the next 6 to 12 months. And that would show her income. I think that got cut off. Okay. Lolita, we'll be in touch. You now understand how we're helping people. Pacegives.com. You're already on the list. So can't wait to help you out.
Thank you.
I might not be the person. It might be one of my students in Indianapolis, but I look forward to helping you out.
Thank you.
Sounds like you're selling her the dream. Justin, email me. Let's spend a day together, man. He says, hope it works out for her, but this is a very risky strategy. It'd be much smarter to stay where she is and keep expenses as low as possible. Interesting. That is one way of doing it. I don't disagree, actually, depending on the person. This isn't for everybody. Justin, you're not wrong in that. But what about people that are actually on my live? There's 8 billion people on the planet. 400 people are here. You think these are maybe highly filtered people that the algorithm has said, hey, this is probably something you want to learn? I didn't pluck Lolita out of obscurity. She found me because she's trying to better her life and get educated. So I'm not just going to some rando. I'm going to somebody who's like, I need more. I need something for myself, right? So that's step one. I'm not going to just anybody. I'm going to people that are like, hey, I want to go and invest in real estate. Here's the other thing. You go and pay $1,125 a month in rent. And in 5 years, Lolita, how much of that apartment do you own?
I don't.
You don't. Meanwhile, the average appreciation of real estate goes up 5% nationwide, average per year, 5%. Mm-hmm. So in 5 years of you owning a piece of real estate and having somebody else pay the rent, or maybe you pay the rent yourself, guess what? You own the house.
Right, exactly.
The house has gone up 25% in value on average at the last 130 years.
Yeah.
Last 130 years, we've been tracking it. Real estate has gone up an average of 5% of appreciation every year. Mm-hmm. So what's happening is you're paying the payment regardless. You're just paying it to your landlord versus owning the property yourself. And if I'm coming to you and saying, hey, I can help you get into a house, roughly the same payment, maybe even less.
Right.
The difference is in five. I'm not trying to teach her how to be a billionaire, Justin. I'm just trying to teach her how to not pay rent anymore. That's it.
That would be awesome.
Okay. Lolita, awesome. Great conversation. Thanks for hanging with me tonight. Steven, truly, I'd love to hang out with you, spend some time with you. Justin, you too, man. Come spend the day with me. Come visit my office. Let's hang out. Might have to be when I'm back home from summer, because you'll probably want to come to my office and meet my employees and see my operation and all that kind of stuff. I imagine. So please email me, pacejmorby@me.com, and let's vibe. Let's hang out. Tell me all the things you hate about me, and let's have a conversation. It'll be great. Honestly, I would love to see this. Obscure Ocelot says, Pace, I can't wait to see a video of Steven in 6 months where he's killing it in creative finance. Yeah. That's what here's the thing. He's a loan officer. So you think he knows a thing or two? He does. He knows more than 90% of people on this live in terms of real estate. So it's like, Justin says, that's okay. I'm busy. Justin, you've been given an opportunity, man. And instead your thought is, bro, I'll even pay for your flight. I'll put you up in my guest house. Come hang out. Come hang out at our title company, see all the transactions that we're closing. Come go to our acquisition department, go visit our properties, meet our sellers. Okay, guys, like this is what you're going to run into. You're going to run into people that just like, they don't care. And Steven says, I'm not doing anything on camera. Really? You want to come on my YouTube live, but you don't want to be on camera in my office? Interesting. Interesting. Guys, I appreciate you so much. This was a good episode. This was good. I really appreciate it. Steven, you're awesome. Truly. And I don't mean that sarcastically. This was a fun show for me tonight. Thank you guys so much. Next week, here's what I'm going to do. It's late notice, but I'll try and get one of my sellers or my closing attorney or somebody to come on here. Steven and Justin, if you don't want to come hang out with me and be on camera, then come in next week. And I'll bring my attorney or I'll bring in one of my sellers and I'll go through like a proof series. Maybe that's what I do. I'll go through a proof series. I think that's what we'll do. We'll do something fun like that. And you'll find that even if you provide all the proof to people, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. There's just sometimes nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Sometimes you just can't convince people the other way, and that's perfectly fine. Guys, we'll see you next week on the proof series. We'll show you guys proof week in and week out. Later.